Some of them leaving family, Crody. What's up, y'all? So let's continue talking about real life shit. Hopefully y'all can't hear this music in the background. If not, if you can hear it, shout out to the good brother Kendrick Lamar. We'll listen to fucking Euphoria, honey. Not that this reading here has anything to do with the tone of Euphoria, but shit, I like Euphoria. Especially the part where he telling motherfucker, I'll park your son. Honey, listen, don't let this shit get out of hand. I will do that. But anyway, let's talk about some real life shit. Or some more real life shit. Um, Make no mistakes about it. Yolanda Salvador, whatever your fat ass name is, baby, you are still real like you still regular people, bitch. You just the asshole to kill Selena. Anyway, did y'all hear about the lady who had gone to the prison to visit her husband and somehow she ended up dead, but we all know that motherfucking heathen did that shit. And here we are again in a real life reading where I want to make sure that y'all understand that I'm not doing no dragging, but I will be honest, okay? And for the most part, Miss Branson's family is asking for justice and they deserve justice, but they're not painting a picture that's not there, okay? Sure, they're saying somebody should have been there to check on them, which I agree. How in the fuck y'all got a convicted fucking murderer having a conjugal visit that y'all ain't checking the fuck him? You ain't get your, whatever every 30 minutes. That's even too long. Hell, every y'all should have had an officer sitting outside the door, okay? So that he wouldn't have had the fucking opportunity to do this to Miss Branson. From what I saw, looking at her background, this woman was so accomplished, y'all. This woman was not only a beautician, a esthetician. Not only was that baby. When I say everything that woman put her hands on spun gold, except this bastard. Okay, we fuck him right now. But she was doing all kinds of toy drives and a specific story. This family had witnessed a murder and they were homeless. Do y'all know Miss Branson, Miss Stephanie? I forgot what she's Stevie. Stevie is her nickname. Do y'all know Miss Stevie spearheaded one portion of it? I'm not saying that she did everything, but she carried them wands for them people. And she like, no, they're not safe in this area. She spearheaded them getting an apartment. And not only did they get up, not even, I don't know if it was an apartment, but they got a home or a place. And not only did she do that, she made sure them folk had motherfucking furniture. She made sure they had kitchen items. She made sure they had clothes. She made sure that these people didn't get forgotten, okay? And although this is a crazy case, y'all need to not let this woman's good work go to waste, okay? Wherever she stopped in those organizations that she was running, that she was part of, all of that, y'all need to pick up the baton and go forward, okay? Because this woman did not deserve to die, okay? I wish for the life of me, Stephanie saw the beauty in herself, or Stevie saw the beauty in herself that other people could see. I don't know that woman at all. But again, from the things that I watched about her, this woman was a beautiful soul. Even down to the video where she was crying and pleading out to God. I bet you she was praying about that ignorant ass husband. Oh, I know us ladies. I know us. I know them tears, baby. Thank God that uh, uh, foolishness didn't happen to me in that manner. You know, I know, but I know them tears, honey. I know that prayer to God and all of that. Yeah, she's praying about that nigga. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with you praying about your husband. You supposed to pray for that nigga. You supposed to keep him uplifted. But when your husband, excuse me, y'all, my eyes look black and shit on the bottom. But when your motherfucking husband is a goddamn convicted murderer, you don't need to keep sending them prayers up to God because your husband took some of God's children up off this planet any fucking way. God will answer you regarding you, but regarding your husband, oh hell no. God had been sending them prayers to the motherfucking spam box. Each prayer that she sent up, okay? Her marrying him made no difference. In 1993, he had already murdered 4 people, okay? He was already sitting on God's bad side. So Poor Stevie going in here believing that I'm gonna bring Jesus with me. I'm gonna introduce him to Jesus to encourage him to be a better person. Kind of made it look like she was stepping on the toes of the people that were dead, and she wasn't respecting the dead. And not that she was outright saying anything negative about the dead people, but y'all got to be careful standing on dead people's toes too. Okay, the fact that she disregarded the fact that this man had murdered four people played a part in why and how she ended up in the predicament. All right, let me read it to y'all. And this is coming from I should have found some shit from California, but I clicked on the first shit I saw. And this is from ABC News Chicago, okay? And it says it's under the title, I mean the tab of strangling. If you go on ABC Chicago 7, okay? The title of it is "Woman Who Died While Visiting Incarcerated Husband at California Prison Was Strangled," sheriff says. A man incarcerated at the prison used, wait a minute, let me slow down. A man incarcerated at the prison used the family visit unit phone to tell officers that his wife had passed out during her visit, telling lies. And let me read about her. The 62-year-old woman who died while visiting her husband at California's Mule Creek State Prison in November was strangled, the Amador County says. County Sheriff's Office said. Girl, let me slow down. Stephanie Diane Brinson's manner of death was a homicide, the sheriff confirmed on Monday. Family members talked to KCRA3. Family members tell KCR3 she was known as Stephanie Dowells, so she didn't carry her married name. So we're going to call her Stephanie Dowells going forward, y'all, okay? According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the CDCR, on November 13th, 2024, just after 2 a.m., he called and lied and said that his wife had passed out. Officers said immediately they began life-saving measures before paramedics responded and took over. Dowells was pronounced dead around 2:51 a.m. Dow's family members tell KCRA she was visiting her husband, David Brinson, 54, always an old nigga. What did I tell y'all about these old niggas? But she was older too, but just remember what I said. If a man is toxic before he reaches 40, that's who the fuck he is, okay? Don't even worry about changing the nigga, helping him change, seeing no motherfucking potential in this nigga. See, that's where Stevie failed at, okay? That's where she failed. There was nothing wrong with this woman loving somebody, but it was her loving this motherfucking snake, okay? And I hate to use the term, but I'm sure she's like, I can't believe the leopard ate my face. Baby, that leopard never changed his stripes. He went in as a murderer, okay? You married him as a murderer, and he did as he would do as a murderer. Rest in peace to her, because fuck him with every letter. Like, I hope he gets the death penalty. I hope they ship him down to Missouri and let him get his ass hung or some shit. Anyway, let me go back to this because I think it's ridiculous. If you a motherfucking convicted murderer, what you need some pussy for? Especially if you got them life sentences like he had, like he has no possibility of parole. Okay, after 20 years of determinate, he has a 20-year determinate sentence, meaning if he didn't act a fool in that motherfucker, they'll move him to another unit. He ain't never getting the fuck up out this motherfucker. I don't know why the fuck Stephanie saw love in this man. We gonna get to the cards, but y'all know I got to talk at the beginning. Just hold on. Family visits occur in private apartment-like facilities on prison grounds and last approximately 30 to 40 hours. So he could have killed her immediately when she was in there and just dropped her body on the floor. But then again, they said they pronounced her dead at 2:51. So he did the shit in the morning around that time. Dow's family tells, okay, we read that. David Brunson came to prison from Los Angeles County in February 1994, according to the CDCR. While the Amador County Sheriff's ruled Dow's death a homicide, CDCR said its investigation is still ongoing. As a result, the Amador County District Attorney's Office told KCRA3 that it has not yet filed charges against anyone as it awaits the completion of that criminal investigation. Okay, let's go on and move on because we already know that motherfucker did that, okay? There's no other explanation that y'all can give, okay? But they're trying to make sure they clear their ass, okay? I know I said okay 36 times, but bitch, fuck you. Anyway, they're trying to make sure that they cover their ass in this situation. They know that that motherfucker did that, but hey, let's make sure that we cover our ass. But this reading is about Stevie, okay, about Miss Dow, okay, about Stephanie Brinson. And while I hope that she found peace in her death, I want to point out some things that she overlooked. For her to even hitch herself to him, to get married to him, was a complete bad idea. It was absolutely bad karma, okay? And I'll point out to y'all why it was bad karma. See, Stephanie's intuition had probably begun while she was doing all that crying about this man. And she wasn't saying it was about him, but I'm telling y'all, I know them tears. I know what the fuck that was about. While she was doing all that crying about that man, she was ignoring her intuition, okay? She was ignoring God or that Jesus, so to speak, because she was in love, honey. She wanted her husband. She had finally been chosen. And for the life of me, I cannot convince y'all to love on these females in y'all family so they won't run into a dirty bitch like David Brunson and see gold in this motherfucker. Or as I said, she saw potential in this piece of shit, okay? She ignored God telling her it's not a good idea to deal with him. She didn't care, okay? Regardless of how toxic the situation was, because y'all might be like, how toxic could it have been? He's behind bars. And motherfucker was doing and saying everything he could to bring that woman low so that he can continue to have control over her. Not only that, she was probably flexing how much money she could give him or provide for him. I bet you if y'all go into his JPay account, he's got thousands of dollars or had because she was providing for him from the time of 19, whenever they, no, they had only been together 13 years. So 13 years from 2024, what is that? She's been with him since 2010, 2011. Okay. Is that right, y'all? Somewhere around that time. Okay, she been with them. No, that's 15 years. So she was 2012, 2013. She started fucking with him. But she was ignoring God the whole rip. Okay, because she had been chosen. No matter how toxic the situation was, it was toxic in emotional and it was toxic spiritually. It was toxic sexually because she should not have been laying with that motherfucking man because he was a criminal. He was a heathen. That's what God meant, or y'all Bible means when it says, don't cast your pearls before swine. Stevie cast her pearls before swine, and that swine devoured her. And I'm not being harsh, but I'm being real. She was so excited to have finally been chosen and finally have been picked that she got picked to death. And I don't mean no humor behind that. That same man that she felt that she was excited to be picked by took her fucking life. No, she's not the only woman that this has happened to, but we're talking about her right now, okay? She literally chose her fate because she needed to be picked, y'all. Okay. Now, people have been communicating to her, like the kids have been, saying, I don't think it's a good idea to go fuck with him. People have been saying that to her. Okay, this is not nothing new. This is not nobody just suddenly appearing and they're like, oh, well, I don't think you should fool with him. No, people been saying this shit. They've been pointing out that this motherfucker ain't right. They point out his background often, or they did point it out. They like this motherfucker is the devil. And he's potentially looking to have somebody ensnared in his web with him. And that's exactly what he did. He ensnared her, okay? Stephanie felt like, and I mean this in love, she felt like as long as he was in jail, he wouldn't have no more options of fucking with nobody else. See, Stephanie kind of had, or Stevie, kind of had a low self-esteem, low self-value, so low self-worth. She had not been chosen by anybody outside. She had maybe been treated wrong in relationships, and she figured if this man was behind bars and she supported him, and this is me just paraphrasing, okay? This is not direct conversation with this woman. This is me paraphrasing, getting what I'm getting from the cards. She felt like as long as he was in jail, she didn't have to worry. Even though he was a toxic piece of shit, even though this man was emotionally immature and everything else, he didn't know what a fucking relationship was. And he didn't care about that. All he cared about was what Stevie could give him. And to make sure that it looked right in the eyesight of God, because she had already been fucking on him before they got married. Not before, like when they were out, when he was out in the streets, and she might have known him back when, but sometimes, ladies, it ain't good to spin the block, okay? If you ain't seen this motherfucker in 20, 30 years, you don't know this person. Hell, if you ain't seen him in 5 years, you don't know this person no more. Okay, but I'm not saying that they had a past, but she was already screwing him before they got married. She figured it's time to get married so that it looks right in front of God. See, she was ashamed of her natural human nature. She needed some dick. She was probably overlooking the dicks that was around her. Okay. She probably wanted a man a little younger, but she didn't want to go too young, and she didn't want the church fucking with her. But baby, that's exactly what you should have went and did. Got you some free dick, some free young dick out here, okay? But she got married to this heathen. Hitched her wagon right on up to this heathen. Even though God was telling her this ain't a good idea, she felt good because she had finally been picked. I am finally somebody's wife. And her friends, they was all like, you sure this is, what you want to do? But no, she was my man, my man, my man, baby. She bigging this nigga the fuck up. Oh no, don't talk about my husband. It's my husband now. Now it shifts over into this. She's been chosen by this man, and she feels like God sent her on this mission to save this man. Y'all women better stop trying to save men, okay? And save your fucking selves. Because when she laid there with that man and he choked her, Jesus was not there. The church group was not there. Nobody was there but her. And I hate that she didn't realize that prior to going to see this piece of shit, because God told her. God told her don't go see him no more. God told her to cut her purse off too. She probably was going up there to break up with him this time now. But she gonna get her some breakup dick. He probably get high and every fucking thing else in there. She ain't getting too much or wasn't getting too much, but she got his last name and that's all that mattered to her. I had finally been picked. And while um doing so, she flexed her money and she made it so that he knew that she had money and he knew that she was gonna be there. She included Jesus. Okay, it's me, you, and Jesus now. She kept leading with Jesus. This is why she couldn't see. He may not be perfect. The Nine of Cups, y'all know that also means that motherfuckers know the shit ain't perfect, but they rocking with it. He may not be perfect, but it's me, him, and Jesus in this relationship, and we gonna be just fine. That defiant ass attitude. And defiant ass attitude of, y'all not gonna motherfucking walk me away from my man, regardless to how toxic this nigga is, regardless to whatever the fuck he has done to another woman. You ain't gonna take me away from my man, okay? This is the energy she's giving, and I'm not shitting on her at all, but she had finally been picked. Thinking about me, my own. Yeah, this damn Sabrina Carpenter then started playing. Sorry. Sweet espresso. Hmm. Girl, that's what she was thinking, girl. She was that espresso to that man. But anyway, she felt like she had finally succeeded at a relationship. She had finally been chosen by a lover who had finally, seemingly loved her for who she was, loved her just for her. And she felt like this situation was successful as long as she had Jesus. Y'all better let Jesus the fuck go. She decided that she was going to carry this burden with him, okay? She decided whatever it took to make sure that she stayed a married woman so that people can see in the eyesight of, so that people can look in the eyesight, it can look right in the eyesight of God. No matter what her lover had done, no matter the fact that he had already broken the hearts of other people by killing them, as long as he don't do it to me, it was okay. She was troubled by this shit, okay? She was absolutely troubled by it. That's why her spirit was never at peace. That's why she was always in tears talking to God because she was being defiant against what God was telling her. He had already hurt people. Why would you hit yourself to him? After staying with him for so long, unfortunately, and I mean this in love, God said, okay, at Four Swords, you want to continue to entertain this man that's going nowhere. This is him being arrested. This is him arrested and locked the fuck up. This is also her being killed. This is them laying in the bed and he hurt her in the bed. She was scared that he was going to kill her. Nine of Swords, Nine of Wands. She was scared he was going to do it. She knew it. God had already told her that this may be coming. Okay? I have no doubt in my mind that that man was standing in the corner of her room too before she left, but she ignored it. Okay? Went to visit her convict anyway, okay? Went on over there to come visit him, okay? Hold on, let me make sure I stay where I am. And what led to her death that night, her ignoring God. Again, Stephanie had a little bit of, regardless to how much of a beautiful person she was, how accomplished she was, she had a problem looking at herself in the mirror, especially after she got married to him. I'm willing to bet you them spirits of them people that he murdered started visiting her. Because he didn't give a fuck. They had been visiting him, but he like, oh well, you niggas dead. He didn't give a fuck no way. That's why he killed 4 people. Those people being allowed to visit her or haunt her a little bit was God trying to warn her to back off. But she would hide her face in the good things that she did. She would hide her face in the community works, because she had been picked, okay? Regardless to the many times God gave her a choice to walk away from this man, okay? Had her family speaking up and everything. She, again, in defiant fashion, kept going. Not at first, okay? It wasn't defiance at first. She just kept on, it'll be all right, God. She first felt like she went as a little girl. I didn't know my way. It's the daughter of cups coming up, or excuse me, the daughter of baskets in this deck. Knowing that he has this history of killing people. Knowing that he has this violent history, period. God was trying to protect her. Like, look, I'm trying to give you an option of another man. She didn't want to hear that. She kept going. And then when she got used to the trip, she like, okay, I know what I'm doing now, Lord. I know what I'm doing now. I know my way there. I know my way a little bit around the jail. I know what to expect. And God was like, no, that ain't it. I don't want you to go visit him no more. In fact, I want you to sever your way against him. She, what? You want to take me away from my man, my husband? God, I've been waiting my whole life for a husband. Maybe she had one prior too, but she like, I've been waiting my whole life to be loved properly. And this man telling me all the things I want to hear, and he loving on me and doing the things I need him to do. Yeah, he's not perfect, and maybe he didn't mean to. This is when the excuses come in. See, this is where this daughter of baskets bullshit shows up, okay? Making these excuses for the things that he did. Maybe he didn't mean to do it. Maybe if he had another chance, he'll be a different person. Maybe if I introduce God to him, he'll change and they'll give him a chance. And I'm going to pray to the Lord that he gets out. Even though he killed all 4 of them people, I'm going to pray to God that he gets out. Yeah. God told her to stop going to visit him, but she defiantly drug her suitcase with her this last time, okay? I'm going to go see him one last time, God. That was the mistake she made. And what led to her death that night again. Like I said, being defiant to God. See, her husband, Mr. David Brenton, was doing nothing but manipulating her mentally, emotionally, sexually, doing everything he can to keep her on and keep himself in control of her. While she, again, like I said, letting this nigga know how much paper she got because that's her husband. She making sure that she bring up to him how much money they have. See, he ain't got shit. This bitch been in jail since 1993. He ain't got shit but the clothes on his motherfucking back. But because she wants to look right in the eyesight of the Lord, she gives this nigga not necessarily access, but she lets him know what she got going on financially. Not only that, she providing heavily for him, okay? Not listening to God, but running up in there like Big Mama. She feel like this can work. I know he ain't, or she thought, or she thinks, he ain't spending his money on another woman. He ain't out here running the streets. I can provide for him, and this can work. Excuse me, the 8 of coins shows up first, okay? Meaning that she feels like this can work because at least he's in jail. I know where he's at. I know that he's not dealing with any other women. I know this. I'm safe with this man. And this is me paraphrasing, but I digress. And she started giving him money. Hand over fist, honey. Hand over fist. Letting him know he got access to this shit. We're married. There's no reason for you not to know what we have. This is our joint assets. She telling him this because if you look at him, you can tell he a dumb nigga. He don't know none of this shit that she talking about anyway. But I digress again. Money start getting tight for her. Or God start putting shit in her path that are like that became like 5 of coins energy, 5 of pentacles energy. And maybe she started hearing God and waking up like, baby, you're wasting your time emotionally. Y'all know the coins mean not only money, but they mean emotions, that grounding. The emotions are the cups, excuse me, that grounding. This is shaky ground you on, Stevie. Okay? See, she was saying, Stevie, saying God was like, Stevie, you need to love harder. God did not tell you that, okay? That was your ego telling you that, ma'am. And I think you know now, okay? For those of you that are following me, if you are in a negative situation and you hear a voice say you need to love harder, you are being led by your fucking ego, okay? That's a demon trying to make sure you are devoured by this lion that you have affixed yourself to, okay? Such as Miss Stevie. Rest in peace to her again, but she ignored God. When God was saying love harder, he was telling her to love herself hard enough to let this nigga the fuck go. And again, like I said, defiantly she kept going up there to see him until that money started getting low. And she like, look, David, I can't give you no more money. She wasn't, she started seeing the shit wasn't going nowhere. Okay, maybe when she was not able to look at herself, she started seeing how foolish this marriage was and how fruitless it was to attach herself and tether herself to a man that was in jail, mentally, financially, sexually. Maybe that soul tie that she had sold around herself had started to break, and she like, I can't do this no more, David. I can't do this no more. This is maybe her telling him, this is the last time I'm coming to see you. This is the last time I'm giving you money. I'm done with this. Not saying I'm going to divorce you, but we can talk on the phone, but I can't do no more financial shit for you. And David took this as his opportunity, being the murderer that he is. He found an opportunity, an open road, when she announced to him that she was coming to visit him. Let's have a conjugal visit, David. Let's make up. Let's not end this on a fucked up note. So when she went to visit him, he found the opportunity when they were left alone. And he had plans all along to kill this woman. This was never going to be a visit that she was going to make it out of. He planned on killing her. And he did just that. He was given opportunity. The good thing behind it is the family will get their justice, though. Here's the justice card showing up with the 3 of coins and the 10 of pentacles showing up, or the 10 of coins on them pentacles coins, same flavor. Anyway, they are going to be able to work out some type of deal that not only benefits them financially, it is going to set a standard for future conjugal visits going forward. You niggas might not be as free to do what you want to do in these conjugal visits now. Thank David Brinson's punk ass. Thank him for fucking it up for everybody. But the family is going to get their justice, and they're going to get some bread up out of it. And that's going to be the end of the story that was Miss Stephanie Dow. I hope that she finds peace, and I hope that she did not wake up in the cell with this nigga. I hope that she did not. Y'all remember okay, if you watched American Horror Story, and I'm not saying that this shit is absolute, but what I am saying is I feel like that episode where Gabori Sidibe kept being returned to her own personal hell and the chicken flying, when she was a chicken flipping bitch. I think that when people defy God, not like overall, I'm talking about if God can gave you that warning, like, look, don't do this, don't do that, and you go against it. Or also, let me add also I feel that if you don't come to terms with your own self, you don't gain peace within your own spirit and soul prior to you transitioning. I feel like your return to wherever it is that your own personal hell is. And I feel like American Horror Story reflected that slightly okay. Okay. In that series. I can't even remember the name of whichever one it was. It was the one with the fucking witches. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna move on because I got a few more readings to do. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. And again, ladies, choose better, do better. You're greater than love after lockup and love during lockup. I don't give a shit what he did. Leave his ass there so he can learn this lesson. All right.
Feel the sacred glow in the realm of the real. Let a power flow.